Yesterday, I fed a hungry lynx, and today she brought me 3 poor cubs. Yesterday, I fed a lynx for the first time in my life, and today she came back with 3 tiny cubs hanging from her mouth. When I saw her standing at my glass door this morning, my heart almost stopped. I thought I was dreaming, but no, it was real. She pressed her paw against the glass like she was knocking, and in her jaws, there was a small kitten with spots all over its body. 2 more were sitting under her stomach, trembling from cold or fear. I couldn't tell. I'm Mike. I live in a wooden cabin near the forest, away from the city noise. Yesterday, while chopping wood for my stove, I noticed a thin, exhausted lynx sitting near my fence. She was staring at me with such sad eyes that I couldn't ignore her. I went inside, grabbed some chicken breast I was planning to cook for lunch, and left it on the stump near the fence. I didn't stay to watch. I didn't want to scare her away. Last night, I thought about her before falling asleep, wondering if she found the food, wondering if she was still alive. I've never seen a lynx that close to the house before, but this morning was different. I woke up early because I heard scratching on my glass door. When I pulled the curtain, there she was. Her fur looked rough and wet from dew. Her eyes locked on mine. She lowered the kitten to the porch and looked back at the forest, where 2 more cubs crawled out from the bushes. They were so small, their ears not even standing straight yet. My hands shook as I opened the door slowly. She didn't move. She just sat there, breathing heavily, while the cubs huddled around her paws. I could see her ribs sticking out under her spotted fur. My chest tightened. I knew she came back because she trusted me. But why with the cubs? Was she asking for more food? Or was she asking for help? I whispered, "Hey girl, it's okay." She blinked slowly, like she understood every word. I went inside, grabbed more chicken, and cut it into small pieces. I placed it on a plate and slid it outside. She sniffed it and pushed the plate towards the cubs with her nose. That broke me inside. She didn't even eat first. She wanted them to eat. The smallest one mewed softly, biting into a piece with tiny sharp teeth. My dad used to say if an animal shows you its babies, it means it trusts you more than anything in this world. I felt tears filling my eyes. I sat down on the floor, just watching them eat. The mother lynx kept looking at me. Her eyes were tired but calm. An hour later, while I was washing the dishes, my phone rang. It was Ben, my neighbor from half a mile down the road. He sounded angry. "Mike, did you see that lynx again? You better call animal control before she attacks you or your dog." I told him I didn't have a dog. He cursed under his breath and said, "You're crazy feeding that thing. Next time she'll come inside your house." I hung up without answering. He never understood. He hunts deer every winter. For him, animals are trophies. For me, they are just like us, trying to survive. After breakfast, I went to town to buy more chicken and some turkey meat. The cashier asked why I was buying so much. I just smiled and said I had guests. She laughed, not knowing my guests had paws and tails. When I got back, the lynx and her cubs were sleeping on my porch under the sun. The smallest cub was curled up between her front legs. I stepped closer, and her ears twitched, but she didn't get up. I left the meat near the door and sat on the step. I spent half the day there, just listening to the wind rustling the trees, watching tiny birds land on my railing, hearing the cubs purr in their sleep. Later that afternoon, I called the local wildlife rescue to ask if there was any danger in feeding her. A woman named Claire answered. She said, "If she's coming to you, it's because she feels safe. But don't get too close. They're still wild animals." I promised to keep my distance. But in my heart, I already knew I would do anything to keep them alive. That evening, I cooked rice with turkey and left it outside in a metal bowl. The lynx ate a few bites this time. I noticed her limping when she stood up. Her back leg had a deep cut, probably from a trap or sharp branch. My chest burned with anger thinking about traps in these woods. People setting metal jaws to catch anything that walks. I wanted to scream. Next morning, she was still there. She hadn't left all night. I found her licking her wound under the porch steps. The cubs were playing near my firewood stack. I sat on the ground a few feet away and spoke softly. "I wish I could help you, but I know you won't let me touch you." She lifted her head, her eyes half closed, and sighed. That sigh sounded like giving up. I called Claire again. I asked what would happen if I reported her injury. She said they would try to rehabilitate her, but chances are she would never come back to the forest. They'd keep her in captivity. I couldn't do that to her. She belonged to the forest. Even injured, she had dignity in her eyes. Strength I've never seen in any human. so I decided to help her myself. I remembered my dad's old veterinary kit in the shed. That evening, I left out raw turkeys soaked in an antibiotic solution safe for felines. She sniffed it for a long time before eating it. Her eyes met mine, and for a moment, I felt we understood each other without words. A week passed like that. Every morning, she came with the cubs. They grew stronger. Their ears perked up, and their eyes sparkled with life. They chased each other on my porch, climbing my woodpile, biting my old boots I left outside. One morning, I woke up and they were gone. No scratching on the door, no quiet mews outside. The porch was empty. I waited all day, sitting on the steps, hoping to hear them. But the forest was silent. That night, I sat on my porch with a cup of coffee, listening to the owls hooting somewhere far away. And then I heard it, a quiet rustle near the trees. She stepped out into the moonlight. Alone, she stood there for a long time, looking at me. Then she turned and walked back into the forest, her tail high, her steps no longer limping. I never saw her again, but I know she left because she could, because her cubs were strong enough to travel with her, because she trusted me to give her the strength she needed. And that's enough for me.